Hey guys, it's Hybrid here, and I am really excited for this because imagine this as the second season of Character Bios because I have a new layout, new format, and essentially, really quickly, because obviously you're not clicking on this video to hear about it, you're clicking on this video to hear about the Character Bios, the origin, etc. for Thanos. So really quickly, sorry, the things I took out, the equipment category. I just am combining that with abilities. If equipment is so tied to the character that I need to talk about it, like Captain America with his shield, I'm just going to throw that into abilities for the sake of time and interest of people watching the video from feedback I've gotten. Also, I've taken out the weakness category because it's been very controversial, some things I put in there as a weakness, and just for the sake of people not getting upset and people to just be able to enjoy the video for what I'm trying to do, which is educate you guys on the character's origin. I'm just taking it out, and instead I've replaced it with recommended reading. So after you watch the video, if you want to know comics that I personally think you should read if you want to know more about the character and explore more about the character, that's what my recommended reading part is for. I'm going to recommend 6 comics, so yeah, there's that. And without further ado, let's begin with the character bios for the Mad Titan Thanos. Thanos was born on Titan, the largest moon on Saturn. A lot of people don't seem to know that, but yes, he is from Titan, the moon on Saturn. A lot of people think it's Titan like another planet or like another, solar system or something. No, it's the moon. So he was unique though within his race because he was born as he is a mutation. He's a mutant essentially of his kind. And his kind is already really advanced and powerful as is the Eternals, but he has something called the deviant gene. So that is why he is purple and not, super beautiful like the other members of his race. So he is the son of the brilliant scientist A. Lars, also known as the Mentor. A neat fact, Thanos' grandfather is actually Kronos. So he is one of those abstract entities you might see from time to time in the Marvel Universe if you read much more of the cosmic stuff. With that being said, though, it's also interesting to note that Thanos' father essentially runs Titan. In a way, Thanos is like a prince, kind of, in that way. Naturally a very smart child. He actually ends up obviously excelling his father intellectually. He excels in all various fields of academics that the planet has to offer at a very young age. And also at the same time, he's very fascinated with death and decay. Now, Thanos as a young child doesn't like death itself, like he doesn't like killing, but he still is fascinated by it. So Thanos, though, due to his genetic mutation, gained much attention on Titan compared to other Eternals' children, mostly because all the Eternals were, they were all really attractive, and there wasn't much diversity there, nothing unique that stuck out about them. But Thanos was, because he had the purple skin. Obviously, he was already really smart, but the purple skin is really what attracted people. So one day, though, after failing to dissect a lizard, because like I said earlier, he didn't want to kill or hurt a living thing at this time as a young child. He met a girl. Now, I'm not going to get to who this girl is later, but this girl plays a major part in Thanos' origin. This girl, though, tells him about this cave and how he should go to it, and Thanos takes a few of his friends to the cave. And a cave-in happens, they get trapped, but Thanos survives while all of them, as you can see in the picture, end up getting killed by this lizard, which is the first time in 200 years on Titan that a child has died. So it's a pretty big deal, and Thanos is kind of affected by it. So after the death of his friends, Thanos was pushed to kill all the lizards in the cave by the girl. By the time he is a teenager, this is wild times, this is like months, years later, he completes his education with the highest grades ever on Titan. He actually completes his education way before anyone else does, and he essentially just walks out on the professor, which is pretty impressive considering his age and the scope of things he's doing. Like, as a young child, when he was around 12-ish, he was already mapping out his whole genetic structure, which scientists today that study for decades can't even fully do. So it's very interesting. That just really shows how much more advanced he is than anybody else. He then begins exploring, though, and he explores all throughout Titan, landscapes and etc. And also he starts experimenting throughout Titan, searching for his purpose in life. Because one thing that bothers Thanos is that he doesn't know, why is he here? Why does he have this genetic mutation? Answers like that he's looking for. And he does it by essentially dissecting other living organisms to see what's different between him and them on the inside. So it's kind of twisted, and you can see his descent into madness kind of in this way. So in the process of searching for his purpose, Thanos committed the first murder ever recorded on Titan, ever, even killing his own mother. And he then left Titan, though, after that, where he did many things, from making a family. He ended up having a wife and children, etc. And he actually even became a space pirate. He worked as the engineer, essentially, on the ship. But eventually, he met the girl, again, who's now a woman, when he visited Titan. So during this time, though, Thanos goes from being an engineer, he actually kills the captain and becomes the captain of this vessel. So he ends up starting to get a name for himself already as Thanos the Destroyer, Thanos the Conqueror, etc., who pillages and does all that stuff. So the woman who Thanos has already, he's always had a thing for, essentially tells him that if Thanos wants her, he has to belong to only her. Which, by that she means, kill anyone that's related to you, like all your wives, kill them, kill all your children, etc. So Thanos goes out and actually does that. And even after that, he continues to kill and kill and kill to please this woman. Also, at the same time, he augments himself, making himself stronger, more invulnerable. He even, this is where he gets his energy projection abilities from. So it's really interesting seeing the kind of evolution he goes through. And he, like I said, he augments himself, acquiring new abilities. But eventually he questions the woman, as to who she is. Because even though Thanos has always been attracted to her, and has essentially done everything she's told him to do, he doesn't know much about her. Like, he hasn't felt her touch. People don't seem to notice her, because Thanos is the only one that ever seems to talk to her, which she points out, and his crew members point out. It seems like only he can see her. So, like I said, for all we know, Thanos is actually genuinely crazy. He is truly the Mad Titan. We don't know that because, obviously, a lot of the stories that focus on this are from Thanos' point of view. So, of course, if this is Thanos' point of view, he wouldn't seem crazy to himself. That is what true insanity is. You're not, you don't know you're insane. You think you're normal. But to everybody else on the outside, they could totally see the difference. It is then revealed, though, that this woman is the personification of death, which kind of makes a lot of sense, because she's always been leading Thanos to kill and create death. But she pushes Thanos to actually go back to Titan, his home planet, and kill everyone on it, in order to get, her love, essentially. He soon kills all of the Eternals, with his father being the last one he kills. The way he kind of kills his father isn't really a true death. It's kind of a cursed death, where he won't die, if that makes any sense. So he's cursed, basically, to live the rest of his life seeing what Thanos will do. And with that being said, also, he gets to finally embrace death, as you can see in that picture, but after that he still feels empty. He doesn't feel fulfilled by it. So he goes off, journeys to other worlds, and continues conquering them, etc. And, becomes the Thanos we kind of know and love, if you love Thanos. I personally like Thanos. I like how Thanos Rising made him a much more complex character, because he was always a complex character, but the Thanos Rising miniseries really went into his origin, and the way they did it in such a way where you could really kind of sympathize with this character. Like, he's really the byproduct of heavily, a combination of neglect and manipulation at a young age, and it's just, seeing what that makes, it speaks volumes. Like, obviously you could look at it at a literal level, like for what it is on the surface, but you can also look at it in a big metaphorical level. So I really like that. I feel like the miniseries Thanos Rising really brought a lot more to the table than previous other installments that were about Thanos, because a lot of them were just, hey, there's this really powerful, crazy dude who likes killing stuff. Yeah, now let's get to his abilities. So Thanos has superhuman strength, speed, durability, reflexes, matter manipulation, sorry I mispronounced that for some reason, intelligence, stamina, immortality, teleportation, energy manipulation, telepathy, and is also an experienced combatant. Just to give you guys an idea of Thanos, he's stronger, if not as strong as the Hulk. He's fast enough to stand up to people like Quicksilver speed wise, not outrun them, but reflex and whatnot, kind of catch them off guard in a fight. Durability wise, he could easily take something like a nuke to the face. He could take a hit from Thor's Harem Mjolnir to the face and be fine. Also, matter manipulation is pretty self-explanatory. Intelligence, he's much smarter than people like Mr. Fantastic or Iron Man, to give you a perspective on that. And also, he's an experienced combatant. He's killed with his bare hands before he got his energy manipulation augmentations. He killed probably thousands to millions of living beings throughout the whole universe. So Thanos is a killer. So that's it for his origins and abilities. Like I said, this is different from what I usually do. So if you like this, character bios version 2.0, let me know in the comments below. I'll keep this. I'm just trying to, try out a new thing to interest you guys, because I feel like the previous layout was kind of static with people and didn't really catch their eye, and this is much more pop out-ish. That makes sense. I'm trying to go for a much more aesthetically attractive look. My recommended reading is Thanos Rising, obviously number 1 through 5, to get the essential origin, I guess now, for Thanos. That would be a good comic. There are a few things I question about it though, like the fact that they don't go into Thanos' brother, the superhero Star Fox, which I find very odd. They don't go into that at all. Also, they don't go into the fact that even though at the end of Thanos Rising, Thanos seemingly rejects death, those comics chronologically take place before things like the Infinity Gauntlet, where Thanos is again trying to please death and court death, yet death rejects him, when it's the total opposite at the end of Thanos Rising, where it's death trying to court him and him rejecting death. So a few odd things there, but overall it is an amazing series. Brilliant. Very, very brilliant. We also have the Silver Surfer issue number 34 to 38, much more older comic obviously than Thanos Rising, so you could probably get that if you go to a local comic book shop. Probably Comixology has it too. I recommend them for a lot of comics if you don't have a comic book store near you, or also if the comic you want is usually sold out, because it's a digital comic, so they don't have that problem with selling out. Now also the Thanos Quest number 1 through 2, which essentially sets up for the whole Infinity Gauntlet thing. It's pretty much the setup for the Infinity Gauntlet event. And then we have the Infinity Gauntlet issue number 1 through 6, which Thanos is extraordinarily famous for. When people think about Thanos, they automatically love the time together with the Infinity Gauntlet. And after that, we get the Thanos Imperative number 1 through 6, and then end that off with the current Infinity event going on right now, issues 1 through 6. Now, as I'm recording this, that event is not over. It's actually just kind of getting into the event. So, for all I know, it could go from, because it looks like they're really promoting Thanos in it. So, for all I know, it could be like Thanos heavy in the beginning and not at the end. So, if it's not, I'm sorry, but it just, from what they've shown of Infinity and what they've been marketing, it looks like Thanos is going to have a somewhat big role in it. And that's it for this. I hope this helps you guys. I hope you guys are interested in the character now. I know a lot of you guys have been really interested ever since that Avengers after credit scene, if you're new to comics, things like that. So I hope you guys are interested in the character. Go check out his stuff. And this is Hybrid. Please subscribe, comment, and like, and I'll see you guys later.